Yo, what up? It's Yessi Ortiz, and this is Hater Todd.
Yep, and I don't hate The Walking Dead.
It's what you're watching, The Walking Dead. That was an intense kickoff to an amazing, like what's going to look like to be an amazing season premiere of The Walking Dead, right?
Oh my God, Carol the Badass. Does that even happen?
Hashtag Carol the Badass.
Yeah, does that scene even happen if Rick didn't kick her off the prison?
That's a good point, because if Rick would have never kicked Carol out, who knows if that would.
Who would have saved them? How all these things would have came in effect? Like, what the fuck?
They could have been cattle, for real.
Man,
you know
Glenn's head would have been...
Yeah, we're going to talk about Glenn's head, but last night, how incredible was it? Leave your comments here, and, you know, let's talk about it for a second. That explosion, you see the zombies even becoming a little bit more aggressive.
Oh my God, right after the explosion, they showed the zombie on fire, and he's still eating the person. Like,
they're
crazy.
becoming bigger in numbers.
Yeah.
They're becoming bigger in numbers, in herds.
Everywhere he goes, a herd now. It's not a couple of them. You see one, and then here come the homies.
Right. So does that means that the people have to become more aggressive? And as we saw last night, this happened. That was intense.
Wow, to start the show off like that, like what the hell?
Right? But
oh my God.
Leave it to The Walking Dead to
the best show ever.
Leave no gruesome behind. A lot of opinions of the type of person you have to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, they made a reference a lot last night. The butcher?
The butcher of the cattle.
Or the cattle.
And we saw it with Tyrese too, and then, you know, got called out by that dude who was about to die. He's like, yo, if you're saving a baby, you're not gonna survive.
Yeah.
If you're stopping that much to care about other people, you're not gonna survive. And I think Tyrese, you know, he showed that, bro, you can be both and still get it done.
Right. You're in, like, they're battling with themselves. Like, you see Glenn also kind of talking to Rick, like Rick saying, yo, kill them all.
We gotta let those people out. That's still who we are.
What would you do? Would you be the butcher or the cattle?
You gotta find that middle ground, because you still have so many people with you.
Yeah.
So you can't stop and be one way or the other way. You gotta find that balance, but you know, it's tough. It's easier to say than do it.
And it's obvious that Terminus was like this cannibalism type society. So what would, you know, what would you do? Would you, if you were put in this zombie apocalypse, would you be the cattle? Would you be the butcher? You know, and Rick, you brought up a good point with as far as like Glenn and Rick. Rick, we've seen Rick transform the entire.
Man, he's changed so much.
Several seasons.
People hate him and they love him, and then he does so many different things. But everything he seems to do, it just ends up down the road being the right decision.
Yeah.
And it's always helped out.
And as we saw, he kicked Carol out for a reason, and now we find them reunited. That probably had me the most, like, tears in the entire Walking Dead.
When Daryl hugged Carol?
Yeah, the entire Walking Dead from beginning the first season to this season, I probably cried the most watching that last night.
That, and then when Rick saw his daughter for the first time since the prison.
So now we have a new group.
Everyone's back.
With the new group of
Old
people.
and new. Yeah, and you got to stop to think, with Rick and Abraham, these are two alpha males. Like, these guys they don't know each other at all other than being container. I doubt they talk that much. So who's going to be in charge and who's going to listen to who? There's two guys right there that can handle the groups.
Right. Which brings us to a really good question. The question of the week.
Yep.
You find a cure, how Abe has been persistent this entire time.
Yeah, he wants to go to Washington and find the cure with Eugene.
Yeah. Or do you find Beth? Because we still don't know where Beth is at.
Beth, where you at, girl? Come on.
We found Carol. We reunited with Tyrese, Carol, the baby. So where the hell?
And Beth, you're hot. We need you back. And you know Daryl's going to be looking for you, so.
This guy.
So is it going to be follow Daryl with Beth? Or do you think you're going to go find the cure? Which would you decide to do?
Leave your comments right here, right now. And we'll continue the What You're Watching recap next week, right here Mondays. And finally, last but not least, Morgan's back!
Timberland, best then, better now. Get yourself a pair at Robert Wayne Footwear.